Hello everyone, welcome to Crown Biology classes. This is Rohit Chaudhary and in today's lecture we are going to study the topic named Class Amphibia under part 15 of Animal Kingdom series. So before studying the characteristic features, let's have a brief introduction of class Amphibia. There are about 3000 species of animals like frogs and toads that have a dual mode of life. They live in freshwater only. There are no marine forms. They have a dual mode of life, that means they can live in water as well as on land. The larval forms are aquatic, whereas the adult form is aquatic as well as terrestrial. So let's start class Amphibia. Before studying the characteristic feature, we should know the meaning of this term amphibia. What does the term means? Amphibia is derived from two words, amphi, that means both or two, and bios, that means life, as we have already studied that they have a dual mode of life, that means they can live in water as well as on land. The first characteristic feature is Carboniferous period is the golden age of amphibians. Why it is known as the golden age of amphibians? Because during this geologic period, amphibians were the top species. The second feature is class Amphibia includes animals which can live on both the places at ease. These were the first animals which came out of water, but they cannot live on land permanently. They need water for reproduction purposes. And their eggs do not have protective covering to check evaporation. The third characteristic feature is these animals undergo hibernation or estivation to prevent themselves from extreme cold and heat. So, in this particular point, there are two important terms, hibernation and estivation. Hibernation and estivation. So, what does hibernation means? Hibernation means winter sleep. It means winter sleep. It is an inactive state during which the animals living in the colder climates, they go into deep sleep. And estivation is nothing but summer sleep. Estivation is similar to hibernation. The only difference is that estivation occurs in those animals which are living in warmer areas. And the animals undergo hibernation or estivation, that to prevent themselves from extreme cold and heat. The next important characteristic feature is body is divided into head and trunk. As we can see in this picture of frog, that its body is divided into head and trunk. Neck is totally absent. We cannot see neck, and the trunk may be extended into tail in some cases. The next characteristic feature is skin is moist. Why the skin is moist? As we can see in this picture, the skin is moist. The skin of frog is moist. Why the skin is moist? Due to the presence of numerous mucus glands in the skin. Due to the presence of these numerous mucus glands in the skin is moist. As we can see in the vertical section of skin of frog, the mucus glands helps in the moistening of skin. And most of these organisms respire through moist skin. That's why they have cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration is the respiration through skin. As you can see, the skin is smooth and it is scaleless. And in some cases, if the scales are present, they are hidden beneath the skin. For example, in Sicilians. The next feature is most of them have two pairs of limbs. Two pairs limbs are present, as we can see, one pair of forelimbs and the another pair of hind limbs. The other forelimb is hidden behind, and the other hind limb is hidden behind. As we can see, they have one pair of forelimbs and the second pair of hind limbs. The forelimbs are smaller than hind limbs, and these hind limbs have webbed feet. These are the webbed feet present. Webbed feet. The next feature is mouth is bigger in size. Upper or both the jaws have teeth. Teeth are pleurodont, homodont, and polyphyodont. So here comes the terms which you should know. What does the term pleurodont means? Pleurodont means having no roots and the teeth are being fused by the lateral side only to the inner surface of the jawbone. As we can see, this is the teeth which is attached to the lateral side, and this is the jawbone shown. Alright, this is the pleurodont teeth. Or simply we can say the teeth which are present on the lateral side of the jawbone. Then comes homodont, means all the teeth are of same shape. But in us humans, we don't have homodont teeth. We have heterodont teeth, as the teeth are of different shapes. Then comes polyphyodont. Polyphyodont means the teeth are continually replaced. But in us humans, we have diphyodont teeth, as we have only two types of teeth in our life, that is baby teeth and the permanent teeth. And in frog, acrodont teeth is present. In acrodont teeth, what will be there? The teeth which are present on the terminal side of the jawbone. So this is the jawbone and this is the teeth present on the terminal side of jawbone. The next feature is a well-developed and complete alimentary canal along with digestive glands are present in digestive system. Complete alimentary canal means there are two separate openings present for ingestion and egestion, mouth and anus. Digestive glands are present, but in case of frog, salivary glands are absent. The next characteristic feature is alimentary canal, urinary bladder, and genital ducts. They open into a common chamber that is called cloaca. All of these, alimentary canal, urinary bladder, and genital ducts, they open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to the exterior through cloacal aperture. As we can see, esophagus, liver, stomach, intestine, rectum, all these are showing alimentary canal. This is the urinary bladder, alright, and this is the cloaca, the common aperture, common chamber we can say, alright, and this cloaca opens to the exterior through cloacal aperture. Respiration is by gills, skin, lungs, or buccopharyngeal cavity. In case of larva, the respiration occurs with the help of gills. And in adults, the respiration occurs with the help of skin, that is known as cutaneous respiration. And if the respiration occurs with the help of lungs, it is known as pulmonary respiration. The respiration can be through buccal cavity as well, that is the lining of mouth cavity. The next feature is these are cold-blooded or poikilothermal animals. Cold-blooded are also known as ectotherms. They cannot generate their own body heat and they rely on external sources to maintain their or to regulate their temperature. The heart is three-chambered, two auricles and one ventricle. As we can see in this diagram, right atrium and left atrium. Two auricles are there and one main ventricle is there. This right atrium, it receives deoxygenated blood from body tissues. This yellow line is showing the deoxygenated blood, and the left atrium is receiving oxygenated blood from lungs. So right atrium and left atrium keeps the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood separate. but it get mixed in the ventricle and the body does not get fully oxygenated blood. The next characteristic feature is RBCs are biconvex, oval and nucleated. Why the RBCs of amphibians are biconvex, oval and nucleated? Because amphibians developed before the evolution of enucleated red blood cells. Moreover, in our case, in humans, the RBCs are biconcave and enucleated because we need more oxygen than amphibians. The next characteristic feature is renal portal system and hepatic portal system are present. So, first of all, we should know what renal portal system is. The renal portal system is a venous system that carries blood from the body's posterior region to the kidneys. Renal portal system is a network of blood capillaries that surrounds the uriniferous tubules of kidneys. Or renal portal system, it's a second route for the blood to flow from a capillary bed to another capillary bed without going through the heart. And what hepatic portal system is? Hepatic portal system is a network of veins in amphibians that carries blood from stomach, intestines, pancreas and spleen to the liver. The next characteristic feature is one pair of kidneys are mesonephric or opisthonephric type. As we can see in this picture that pronephros is the initial stage of kidney development. Alright, mesonephros is the intermediate stage of kidney development and it is the final kidney in case of amphibians, and metanephros is the final stage of kidney development. So the final kidney in amphibians is mesonephric kidney and the function of mesonephric kidney is to maintain osmoregulation. Opisthonephric type, this is the adult kidney in amphibians. The next feature is they are mostly ureotelic. Ureotelic means they excrete their nitrogenous waste as urea. But tailed amphibians and larvae are ammonotelic. That means they excrete their nitrogenous waste as ammonia. The next characteristic feature is skull has two occipital condyles. If the skull has two occipital condyles, we do use the term that is dicondylic skull. Dicondylic skull. And a dicondylic skull is a skull that is attached to the body with the help of two articulatory condyles. The two articulatory condyles connect to the atlas, that is the first vertebra of the vertebral column. A tympanum represents the ear. As we can see in this picture, this gray patch is representing tympanum. Alright, these tympanum, these are present on both sides of the head and they will help in passing the sound vibrations to the ear ossicle, and that ear ossicle named as stapes or columella is present in middle ear. And in humans, how many ear ossicles are present? Three, namely malleus, incus and stapes. So the sound vibrations will be passed to the stapes, which further passes the sound vibrations to the fluid filled inner ear. So that's how they will be able to hear the sound. Eyes have eyelids present. Cranial nerves are 10 pairs. Cranial nerves connect the brain to the head, spine and trunk. Sexes are separate. If the sexes are separate, we do use a term that is dioecious or unisexual. And fertilization is external, but as you know, exceptions do exist everywhere. Fertilization is internal in case of salamander and ichthyophis. The next characteristic feature is these are oviparous. Why these are oviparous? Because they lay eggs and they lay eggs in water. But exceptions do exist. The exception to this is salamander, which is viviparous. Development is indirect, as we have already studied that there are larval stages involved in the life cycle, so the development is indirect. This picture is of tadpole larva. This picture is of tadpole larva, which is a fish-like larva, and it is of frog. axolotl, axolotl larva, and it is found in salamander. Axolotl larva is found in salamander. We can see this is axolotl larva. This is the axolotl larva, and we have studied that the larva respire through gills. So we can see there are three pairs of gills present, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 on the other side. So total 3 pairs of gills are present, which help this axolotl larva to respire in water. Then comes the examples of class amphibia. The first one is bufo, also known as the common toad, Rana tigrina, the bullfrog, Hyla, commonly known as tree frog, Salamandra, also known as salamander, commonly known as salamander, and it is viviparous. Ichthyophis, it is limbless amphibian, and in Ichthyophis the dermal scales are embedded in the skin, and in this the female shows parental care by carefully coiling her body around the eggs till they hatch. So let's have a look at the pictures of the examples that we have just studied. This is bufo, the common toad, commonly known as the common toad. This is Rana tigrina. Rana tigrina, commonly known as the bullfrog. This is Hyla, commonly known as the tree frog. This is salamander. The zoological name is Salamandra. And this is viviparous. And the last picture is of Ichthyophis. Ichthyophis. And this Ichthyophis is a blind worm, also known as limbless amphibian. And the dermal scales are embedded in the skin, and the female shows parental care by carefully coiling her body around the eggs till they hatch.